The Vivobarefoot Gobi sneaker, made with premium canvas. But three things to like with the shoe. I don't know where that accent came from. Number one, it's a pretty clean looking barefoot shoe. I think if you're looking for that barefoot shoe that can be dressed up for business casual settings, this can be a really good canvas option, especially if you already wear canvas shoes to work. I think this shoe does a good job at looking really good with different outfits, and it just has this nice, clean, very mellow appearance to it with minimalist branding. We had some Vivobarefoot branding here on the lateral side of the midfoot, up here on the tongue, and then back here in the heel, but it's all pretty toned down, so you can pair it really well with different outfits. The second thing to like with this shoe is I really like the outsole. Now, this is the Gobi plant outsole, and when it comes to holding up and durability wise, my pair has done a good job, but I think this would definitely be a shoe that you're going to want to rotate with other shoes just to get more out of their lifespan, especially because they do cost a bit more. But all that to say, why do I like the outsole? I like that it wraps up to give you additional protection for commuting purposes and when you're walking in inclement weather, but then also it's pretty grippy. So if you do want that outsole that will protect the upper a little bit more and gives you a good grip, this can be a good option to go with. The third thing to like with this shoe is I do like the canvas upper. Look, it's a little bit more rigid, and I'll talk about that in my cons, but for the most part, it's a pretty easy upper to clean and wipe down. So my pair here does have some scuffs on it, but honestly, the shoe is a very easy model to just get a little bit of a damp washcloth with a light soap, wipe down, and you can keep them looking relatively fresh. So if you're big on having a pair of shoes that you can wipe down if they get a little bit dirty and have confidence in doing so you can wear them out and about again and have them still look relatively fresh and new, this can be a great option. Now, the laces are a little thick and they are cloth, so they can be a bit problematic there, but the upper for the most part does a really good job there. But now I'll talk about a couple of cons that I have with the Gobi Canvas sneaker. All right, the first con with the Gobi Canvas sneaker is they're expensive. This model costs $195. Now, if you use my code JBOLY20, it will save you 20%, which does help. I'm gonna also put that down there. But at the end of the day, $195 for the shoe is pretty dang pricey. And so if you want to spend a little bit less, looking like Display 101, it costs less and also looks really good. But $195 for this shoe, again, it's high, but you can knock that price point down. And that's also why I recommend rotating this shoe with other shoes. You'll get more out of their lifespan, so then that way you can make that $195 price point last a lot longer for your needs. The second con that I have with this shoe is, believe it or not, this shoe actually runs a little bit short with its sizing. So because they don't have half sizes, I think some of us are gonna be in this weird sticky position where the shoe I bought in a 10, I traditionally wear a 10. It feels okay, but I do notice it sometimes hitting the end of the toe box if I wear thicker socks, so I do have to wear thinner socks in it and it makes it better, but it does kind of put me in this position where I'm like, should I go up? And honestly, I don't think I would enjoy having even more room in this shoe, so I do think if you are constantly hitting that edge of your toe box in your traditional true to size and you're not at a half size, you might notice that with this model and you might want to get some thinner socks when wearing this shoe. Now, if you are in between sizes, I would say go up in this model versus down. And a lot of the Primus shoes, I typically say if you're in between, go down because those shoes notoriously run long. This model is not the same, so definitely if you're a half size, go up versus size down in my opinion. The third con that I have with this shoe is the canvas can take a little bit of time to break in. It is a little bit more rigid with its feel, and so when you're breaking the shoe in, pro tip, wear longer socks, so wear ankle socks or crew socks if you can. This boot can have a little bit of rub issue, and this tongue can rub as well, and because there is no gusset, it can slide, and then you might have some friction, so highly recommend wearing ankle or crew socks when breaking this shoe in because again, that canvas, it's just a little bit more rigid. That makes it, I think, great for daily wear context where you want a dressed up shoe, but you are gonna have to pay that price when breaking them in. I would say like 1 to 2 weeks of wearing the shoe all day should really break them in and get them feeling good. And if you wear longer socks, again, that'll help mitigate a lot of that. But now let's talk about the performance of the Gobi Canvas sneaker. All right, to break down the performance of the Gobi Canvas sneaker, I'll discuss how they do for walking, and then just kind of multi-season wear. I have not trained in this shoe. I would not train in this shoe, and I would suggest not doing the same for you. If you want that dressed up shoe from Vivobarefoot that you can also train in, you might want to look into the Asana. It's a little bit more daily wear and training friendly if you want to blend those two together. But again, even with that model, it is going to be a bit more biased towards daily wear. But all that to say, the daily wear performance of this shoe, how is it done? I've really liked them. I like their appearance and I like how the outsole grips. Those are two big things for me for daily wear when it comes to barefoot shoes. I don't love the look of a lot of barefoot shoes for daily wear context, and so the most dressed up models that I like at the moment include this model, Display 101, and then I will also rock my Tolos Archetype 2.0 when I want something that looks a bit more casual. And so on the spectrum of, being able to wear in business casual settings, I do like this canvas option. Now they also have a leather option, But the canvas option, I think, just is a bit more warm weather friendly too. So if you want that spring, summer, fall shoe that you can wear to the office, this can be a great option to go with. Plus, again, I like this outsole and how it wraps up. I do appreciate that it protects the upper a little bit more in the shoe. And I like that they have this like faux leather that wraps around too. It makes it really easy to kind of wipe this down if it gets dirty on commutes and whatnot. Now, when it comes to multi-season wear, can you wear the shoe in the winter? I would say it's going to be really hit or miss because there's a lot of variance there when we define winter. This is definitely going to be a shoe, I think, that is just a 3-season shoe, so spring, fall, and summer. Now, if you want to wear them in deep winter, you probably can, but you're going to have to wear thicker socks. And now that gives us the issue of, because the shoe runs a little bit short, if you wear like thicker wool socks and whatnot, you may find that the toe box just keeps hitting you if you are already pushing the edge of the toe box to begin with in thinner socks. So keep that in mind if you decide to invest in this shoe for the winter, and if you do want to wear them primarily for winter use, and you are pretty much already hitting the end of your toe box or you're close to it in your traditional shoes, you might want to size up in this model. You might be in that small party that I would recommend doing that for. But all that to say, I see this as a good 3-season shoe, and it has a nice casual appearance, and I do like its performance for daily wear. The outsole, again, has held up pretty well for my asks, which is mostly traveling and wearing all day, or if I'm running errands and being on my feet on different surfaces. The shoe has done a pretty good job thus far. And then again, I would recommend rotating the shoe with other shoes just to get more out of their lifespan. That way you will get more out of that $195, or if you knocked on that price with a code, price point for this shoe. So when it comes to the price of the Gobi Premium Canvas sneaker, you can expect to pay $195. If you're used to Vivobarefoot, that price point shouldn't surprise you. But if you look around for codes, it does help knock the price point down. I believe I still have one for 20%, and it's JBully20. I also have JBully, which is your traditional, like I think 10 to 15%. But those are the codes that I actually use when buying the shoes that I review, because I do buy the shoes that I review on the channel. Even if I have a code, I use that code to buy the shoes as well, to help out my wallet as well. So if you use a code, I do think it makes this shoe a little bit more fair. And again, if you're rotating them, then I do think that makes the price point a little bit more tolerable for certain individuals. But again, if you want something cheaper, Splay 101, Tolo's Archetype 2.0, and you could even go with like one of the Witten models off of Amazon if you're not necessarily looking for like the most dressed up shoe out there. All right, so now who should buy the Gobi Premium Canvas sneaker? Number one, I would say city dwellers who want a barefoot shoe that they can wear into the office. This can be a pretty good option to go with. Now, it's not gonna be like the most dressed up shoe, but I think for most business casual settings, this shoe will work. And if you have like casual summer Fridays, this model would also excel for that context. The second context where I think this shoe makes a lot of sense is if you're just getting into barefoot shoes and you want something that's a bit more premium and classy looking, this can be a good option to go with. I do like that the outsole does feel a little bit thicker in this shoe, and you also have this cork insole to help give you additional cushion. And then I think if you did want to swap in your own insole that's a little bit thicker, you can do so in this shoe because you do have a bit more room with this upper. I don't think it's going to feel too low profile to do that for most individuals. Now, if you have a very thick forefoot, or if you have a very high instep, you might want to consider that. But I think for most individuals, you should be okay doing that. The third context where I think this shoe makes a lot of sense is if you want a 3-season shoe, spring, fall, summer, this can be a great option to go with. You can wear them again in winter, but that will come with some caveats. Now, who should pass on this shoe? Number one, budget shoppers. There are options out there that are going to cost less than the shoe, so if the price point is a complete no for you, or you roll your eyes at it, then pass on this model. You can definitely find something for less. And then the second context where I think the shoe might fall short is if you want a shoe for deep winter wear, you might want to look into something a little bit different, or you might want to size up in this shoe if you plan to primarily wear them with thicker socks. So when it comes to the sizing and fit of the Gobi Premium Canvas sneaker, I think this is going to be tough because I think most folks should be okay going true to size, but hear me out. If you wear thinner socks, the shoe will feel okay, I think, for most. You will find that it does run shorter compared to other Vivobarefoot models, but I don't think it's going to be so short to where you're going to want to naturally size up right away if you wear thinner socks. Now, if you're in between sizes, go up in this shoe. If you have an exceptionally wide foot and you wear thicker socks a lot, you'll also want to go up. But for folks like me who are like kind of on this weird cusp of, you know, traditionally wearing true to size, like I'm a 10 and I wear 10 in all of the shoes from Vivobarefoot, and I find the Primus to run long, I find this to run a little bit short, it's tolerable with thinner socks. So I don't think you should size up right away. And if you have additional sizing questions, drop a comment down below because Vivobarefoot varies a lot, and honestly the bane of my existence on Vivobarefoot reviews is trying to navigate sizing with different individuals and different foot anatomies. But I feel like I've aggregated enough comments from other folks and also just my own reviews that I have been able to kind of have a good idea of what sizes work best, just Drop your question down below. Let me know what size you have, what shoe you're currently wearing, and we can go back and forth and try to figure out what's going to be best for your needs. All right, so when looking at the weight, heel, toe drop, and insole in the Gobi model here, we have a weight of 11.60 ounces for my size 10 shoe here. This model obviously has a 0mm heel toe drop, and you have a thin cork removable insole here, so you can't take this out. It's a cork material. It's a little bit more dense than a foam insole, so keep that in mind, but it does give you a bit more cushion, so for beginners out there, you might want to leave that cork insole in, and that'll give you a little bit more padding and cushion when rocking this shoe. All right, now let's break down the construction of the Gobi Premium Canvas sneaker. So with this shoe, you have a canvas upper. This is made with the NFW Claris material with some recycled cotton overlays. This shoe has a lot of like really interesting material, so definitely check out the product page because I likely won't do that justice in this video, just a heads up. And then looking at this wrap here. So this is actually a leather alternative. This is NFW Mira material. It's 100% natural and it's a leather alternative. That's what makes this shoe vegan certified. The lining of this shoe is made with an 100% organic cotton. And then you also have these thicker laces here. The shoe is made with 98% natural materials, which I think is really cool. You have some Vivobarefoot branding here on the lateral side, up here on the tongue, and then back here on the boot. The boot itself has a bit of structure to it, and up here there is a bit of padding, but it is pretty rigid once again. This is definitely going to be a barefoot shoe that you're going to want to wear longer socks with when breaking them in. There is a cork insole in this shoe, as discussed earlier, and the internal construction is finished, so you can take this out if you want more ground feel. And then looking at the outsole in the shoe, we have this NFW Pliant 100% natural outsole here. So this rubber is made with 100% natural materials, and it's a little bit new for the Vivobarefoot shoe line, if I'm not mistaken. But if you have additional questions on the shoe's construction, hit me in the comments below. Again, check out their product page because the shoe does have a lot of natural materials used in it, and you'll definitely want to check that out if you're going to be dropping that much coin for this model. All right, now would I buy this shoe again? Honestly, I'm very hit or miss. I might buy this shoe again if it rolled out a different colorway. Would I buy this specific same shoe again? No, not necessarily, just because it was very expensive for me. And with this shoe, I want it to last a while, so I'm hoping that I can drag it out by rotating it through. But would I go out and buy this shoe right away again? Unless a super sick colorway dropped, not necessarily. I also like my Splay 101, my Tolos models for daily wear, and so with this shoe, I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate that it's like a true vegan model from Vivobarefoot, but it's not necessarily a shoe that I would run out and drop a ton of money on right away just yet. I like them, but not that much to spend that much all the time for multiple pairs. If you have additional questions on this shoe, drop a comment down below or reach out to me personally, whichever you prefer. And as always, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one.